What's the basic function? What are we trying to do? No, that's comprehensive exam. That's totally different from marketing. The answer was pass, and that's different, right? The function within marketing, the basics. What are we trying to do? Something about customers. Customers' wants and needs. Okay, we're on the right track. So strategically, we're thinking about wants and needs. That's very broad. Right? And I love how textbooks just say, to succeed in marketing, you just have to satisfy consumer wants and needs. Sounds very easy. It's not that easy. So one of the key things is that we have to understand those wants and needs, and also understand that there can be many different types of wants and needs. We could try to satisfy more than one at the same time. That's okay. This is why I like to talk about consumer behavior too, because we have to motivate people. So no matter what kind of exciting marketing activities you come up with, if you say, I want to do events, or I want celebrities, I want to sponsor these things, we want to have price promotions, we want to advertise, fantastic. But if you don't understand what their wants and needs are, and if you don't communicate something that's relevant, something that motivates them, then those activities are not likely to be very effective. So this sounds very simple, but it's not as easy as it sounds, right? So the wants and needs could be very basic, they could be very complicated. Basic overlaps with what you study in management, sort of like Maslow, right? So we have to eat, we have to drink, but why would we choose Starbucks? Why not somewhere else? Well, today I chose Starbucks because Obong Peng was not open yet. But, right, you have different levels of needs. So if you're driven by the lowest price, you probably wouldn't choose this. If you claim that it's a combination, right, of taste, of service, of atmosphere, of all of these things, what weight, right? They're not equally giving you the same motivation. So maybe you have a basic want, a basic need. I have to eat. But where to eat? What to eat? This is driven by something a bit deeper. And also don't forget demand. We have a lot of wants and needs. I often talk about my wants and needs, the things that I want but I can't buy. So when we look at markets, we say it's a very large market, even in Thailand, right? It's a very large market. Maybe 65 million people. And yet, we still have a very big problem, which is demand. So if we're selling something to the mass market, then we need to think about distribution and a price that people could afford. If we're selling something like Louis Vuitton, luxury goods, what about demand? Something like BMW, Porsche, what about demand? How many people out there who have the wants and needs but can also afford it? So from a strategic point of view, it's another way of looking at the market, right? Understanding whether or not it motivates people, but also whether or not they could pay for it, even if they want to. It's easy to forget that when we look at market size. Thailand, Vietnam, China. Wow, lots of people. But to what extent could they actually buy these products if we offered them to them? So the market's buying power. Depends on what you're trying to sell. Depends on your revenue model. So when you look at something that's really mass market, maybe dishwashing liquid or maybe some shampoos, okay? We can get coverage all around the country. It's affordable, but maybe the profit margin may not be so high. Transactions usually involve money, but they don't have to. So once upon a time, people would trade things, barter. It still happens today. So when we're looking at setting up our business, where will we sell? How will we sell? Are we going to sell just one time? Or can we sell to these people over and over? So right now, your customers here, will you come back? Do we have much of a chance to bring you back? PhD? Why not? But if we're selling something to people, You've got different ways of looking at the market. So maybe, how much can I produce? How much can I sell? If I'm fixing something like food, something that can't keep, right? I'm going to produce and sell. Maybe I sell it all. That's it. I'm finished for the day, right? So something about capacity. How much could I actually produce, and how much could I sell? If you start going beyond that, you say, okay, I've sold to you, but just one time? I satisfied your wants and needs. Maybe, maybe not. Will you come back again? So if you go out to the restaurant, you get a meal and you're not that satisfied. Will you go back again? Maybe not. So this becomes important when you look at the size of a market and how competitive it becomes. You want to find customers. You get the customers. But can you get them to come back? So in my class, I make fun of the old-fashioned business approach. I call it the Pantip model. I say, you just try to sell today. I don't care about tomorrow, and maybe I even try to cheat you. I try to get as much as I can and just take your business, your money, goodbye. And maybe I don't treat you that well after you buy, and you don't come back. So in terms of looking at the market, and I say size and competitiveness, that type of model, revenue model, is thinking about one-time sales and keep finding new customers. How long can we keep finding new customers? Depends on what type of product we're talking about. So if we're looking at something like shampoo, does everybody use shampoo? Most people, right? So maybe we run out of options to keep finding new users. Does everybody drink green tea? Do you think everybody who's wanted to try it probably has tried it? Do you think green tea sales are coming from new users? The point is, eventually you run out of new users, right? So in Thailand, every household has a TV. Can we find new users? People who have never had a TV before? Probably not, right? So that's why you start going to relationship marketing. Because now we can't just keep finding new users. Now it becomes more competitive to get repeat customers. If we can't get repeat customers, it's going to be difficult for us. Kind of the side point is that markets don't grow forever, right? We're in Asia. We have large populations. We have a lot of new product categories coming in, so we have growth. But eventually, everybody gets a chance to try these products. Then your market is not growing all the time. So how do you improve your sales? How do you improve your profit margins? If you can develop good relationships, maybe you can get repeat business. There are other ways. We'll come back to that. Marketing likes to focus on differentiation. Why? Why should we differentiate? Just looking at the seating pattern, how most people usually sit in the back, and today they sit in the front. That's good. I'm always afraid I'll fall off, so if you sit in the front, I know where the stage is. Why do we need to differentiate? Do we need to differentiate? Was the coffee shop downstairs not open today? Perfetto? The one by the elevators. Are they open today? My question is, why do so many people have Starbucks? If you talk about retail location theory, they're closer. If you talk about economic utility, they're cheaper. So how come people went to Starbucks instead of Perfetto? Maybe. People might say Starbucks tastes better. Brand is an important part. Is branding part of differentiation? I would probably go against the taste, even though it's very common to say that. But if we took a couple of cups and we did a blind taste test, how many people do you think could tell the difference between Starbucks and Perfetto? Or maybe you'd say, a lot of people, I could, But if we did it, I bet you not very many people could. So branding is an important part of differentiation. What other ways can we differentiate? They try, right? I said they're cheaper. They're cheaper, and yet we're willing to pay more at Starbucks. It could be simple things. It could be the kind of service quality. They don't have very nice cups. That's one of my reasons. If you order it to go, their cups are not very nice. They're very thin. They burn your hand. Is that a point of differentiation? It could be, right? So the point is they try to differentiate in different ways. So brand is a very important one. What other ways could we differentiate? Service, definitely. What else? Couldn't quite hear. There are many ways. Packaging. Some basics. Pull out your 4 Ps. Okay, variety of products. We could have product differentiation. We could have price differentiation. We could have service differentiation. All types of things that we can put together to try to differentiate a product or a service or a brand. Can they be copied? Can people copy what I offer? I'm going to offer you a cappuccino. Can they copy that? Yes. I'm going to offer a certain price. Can they copy that? Yes. I'm going to differentiate, offer more products, food, different types of drinks. Can they copy that? Yes. Goodness. So I joke that you're not allowed to copy in school, but you can copy all the time out in business. It's different, right? But they should not be able to copy your brand. That's why this becomes more important later on. For those who studied Kotler type books, which should be everyone, Kotler's books tend to talk about 5 concepts in marketing. It's sometimes argued that this is an evolution. It doesn't really matter. It's because the textbooks were written in the US, and the US market seems to have evolved this way. So you could use something like a production concept where you're trying to reduce prices. Right? That means we're trying to make it accessible, trying to reach many people, inexpensive price. So maybe if we launch a really inexpensive car or pickup, but maybe I take away a lot of the options. Right? They could do the same thing that Ford did. Right? Maybe Mazda could say, we're going to launch this new 3 Series, but it's only going to come in one color. Only one color, because we want to make it cheaper. We want to make it affordable for more and more people. Does that satisfy your wants and needs? To some extent, right? Maybe it's in between. It satisfies the product that you want to get a car, you want to be able to afford it, and yet they're not offering you the extra things. So maybe you cannot choose the color, maybe you don't have these extra features you could add on. We see this a lot for technology goods, too. So they may reduce the price to make it affordable. Maybe they could do more, but that's not what their goal is, right? They're trying to reach more and more people, so they take some of the function out of it. McDonald's is considered very expensive as a franchise. To open a McDonald's franchise, it's expensive. Why? Not just because of the brand name, but because of all the equipment. You have to buy a great deal of equipment. A McDonald's kitchen is completely, pretty much, right, set up for you, because they've created a standardized system of production. So that's going to give them lower costs, very efficient, but high startup costs. So you get your consistency. Are they making it exactly how you want it? You say, I'd like a fish burger, but kind of like this, not like the picture. See, we don't like that here. Right? We're trying to standardize it to make it fast, inexpensive for the mass market. So production concept, kind of only going halfway towards your wants and needs. The product concept focuses more on differentiation, to say, hey, we can make this better. We can do something more.